Good evening. Welcome to part 2 of Christopher Columbus. It was so nice to be with you today on the deck, but it was a little windy and a little cold, and now I'm by my cozy fire and I'm in my listening to Henry VIII, his Tudor music that he actually composed. And it's right at the period of Christopher Columbus. And I usually like to play for you music that is of that period that we are talking about. Now, Henry VIII, of course, was in England, but he married Catherine of Aragon, his first wife, who was the daughter of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. Yes, the ones that gave the offering to Christopher Columbus. So here we have a relationship. And this is one of the best ways I've found to study history and to retain knowledge is studying the people or one special person, like perhaps Christopher Columbus or Henry VIII, and then meet all the people around them. It is really a wonderful way because you feel like you get to know them. They become your friends and you think about them. And they are human beings that, even though they lived many years ago, went through the same things we go through. Yes, life has a classic format. We're very human beings. We are more similar than we are different. Yes. I always think we all have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. We are made in the image of God, body, soul, and spirit. Yes. Well, purple was always a royal color, and that's why I'm wearing it today. And I have some purple jewels. And then I have the little purse I wanted to show you again because outside you couldn't see it. This purse is actually what inspired this tea talk. I saw this sitting in my closet, and this was given to me years ago by a friend. And I don't know who made it, but it could have been made by hand because it's all velvet cloth, brocade. It's so Renaissance. And in those days, as now, ladies would carry special things in their purse, but it would be tied on their dress usually. And I think that is because in the formal times, they would be dancing. And so they would have, I noticed several of the Norwegian costumes, they have a purse that attaches to your dress. And the men in the same way would have a satchel bag or a small bag that the Scotsmen have. I forget what you call it, but the white in the front that is the front of the kilt, that's like their purse. You can open it up and you can hold things like money or important papers if they were traveling. So here it is. I just wanted to share. I am personally very inspired by color, texture, and I think we all are. And it all comes from God, because this time of year, when we look around us in this gorgeous autumn season, the leaves are so over the top. I was driving today between my first tea talk and this one. The painting on the trees is truly like God has taken out his paintbrush and painted us a beautiful picture. It's so lovely. I hope you're all enjoying it. So, interestingly enough, Henry VIII was married to Catherine of Aragon for 24 years, and she bore him a daughter. Remember Mary, who became later Mary Tudor, and she is the cousin, she is the half-sister of Queen Elizabeth I, whose mother was Anne Boleyn. And we're not going to go into the whole story of Henry VIII today, but just that's a little beginning, because It is a complicated story. You can read it, you can watch it, but so many people involved. And then you have all the Marys. You have Bloody Mary, you have Mary Queen of Scots, you have Mary Tudor. And so it gets complicated. So just for today, let's realize that Catherine of Aragon, his first wife, and the reason he lost interest in her and wanted to, sadly, put her aside was because she did not bear him a son. And he suddenly had this desire. Well, every king would have a desire for a son to take their place, but his went out of control because then he divorced her, and because he divorced her, he was excommunicated by the Pope, married Anne Boleyn, who was Elizabeth I's mother, but then Anne wasn't able to bear him a son either, and so that was really, it got worse. He sent her to the Tower, and off went her head, and then he went to the next. And we'll talk more deeply about Henry VIII, but I thought it would be nice to play his music, and I have a cup of tea. If you haven't gotten, let's have another cup of tea. I changed around my little tea set, and I thought we'll go for blue and white and gold, and kind of a little Renaissance looking, this is a little Renaissance cup with gold and cobalt blue and gold. And I'm having tea, but guess what? It is not real tea. Well, it is, but it is decaf, and it's from Canada. And it's very delicious, but it won't keep me awake. And here's my sweet little cream pitcher. I think it's so sweet. And this is a very little cup we're having tonight. We're just gonna be cozy here by the fire. I just didn't feel that tea talk was done. And the sun was going behind my house. I couldn't see you, you couldn't see me. I thought we have to just have a little cozy evening time. And I think that the great thing about Christopher Columbus is, as I said earlier, he kept going. He never gave up, and he was extremely discouraged at times. He was actually extremely rejected. At first, he came back a hero's welcome. And then he lost favor. And he actually died a very poor man. And this happens in history. You know, Johann Sebastian Bach, probably the greatest musician of all, that composed and left us the greatest body of music. He died penniless, and for a while people didn't know where his grave was. This happens, but the contribution was left. And he then later, for Johann Sebastian Bach, he was revived by Mendelssohn. Felix Mendelssohn discovered his music 100 years later, and he said, this is the greatest music in the world. And then everybody started looking and collecting, and a lot of Bach's music, believe it or not, had been lost. Some of the music they found was being used as butcher paper. They were wrapping the meat with it. Think of it. Or wallpapering their houses. Wow. But he wrote for the glory of God, and God made sure that his name is remembered in history. And Christopher Columbus, for us as Americans, this is the greatest country in the history of the world, from sea to shining sea. He had no idea how big the country was. No one really had any idea till, my goodness, till the late 1700s, when Thomas Jefferson, the great president, sent Lewis and Clark west. And no one knew, and they had to be brave. There's always this adventure that seems to come, and Not everyone can do it. We all have different gifts and talents. But if we have the calling, it's important that we do it. I think it's important to find our calling, to find what we feel. I have several very close friends who are music teachers. They've been music teachers for years. They found their calling. They love it. They have literally influenced thousands of children. My mother, she always sang in the choir at church. She always taught Sunday school. She always, she was always supportive, always positive, and she touched thousands of lives just by being who she was. And this is what God calls us to. He doesn't want us to be anything other than what we are meant to be. But Christopher Columbus was meant to do that. Sir Francis Drake was meant to do that. Sir Walter Raleigh was meant to be an explorer. And I just think if we can take from them the concept and the idea to not be afraid to do what we're called, what our dream is. And I think I've told you before, there are 366 fear nots in the Bible. One for every day of the year and an extra one. So I want this message to be tonight. Don't fear. Don't live in fear. Live in faith. It's our choice. Step out of the boat. I know many of you have unusual talents and gifts to contribute. There are people that need you. There are young people that need encouragement. There are old people that need comfort. There are middle people that just need to be loved. And we all have so much to give. Let us not be afraid. You know, between my tea talk, let me tell you a little personal story. Between my tea talks today, I went to town, I went to the bank, I went to the store, and everywhere I went, people were stopping me and telling me how much they loved my outfit. Now, I didn't wear the whole outfit. I took the jewels off. I had just the purple band, and I had a different plaid kind of jacket that was purple, maroon kind of wool. But the young people especially said, let us look at your outfit. We love your outfit. I thought, this is so fun, because I hesitated, should I wear my purple headband to town? And then I went to the bank, and the bank lady said, I love your headband. Where did you get it? And I told her, and she said, I'm going to get one right now. And I thought, wow, that is so nice. And so I had to be brave to wear it out in public, but people loved it. We can be colorful and bring joy to people. And I know I used to teach I used to substitute teach, and then I directed a children's choir. And the little children would always just look to see what I was wearing. They loved the sparkle, they loved the color. So don't be afraid. Put it on and be a blessing, and don't worry. People love to see something different and colorful. We don't all have to look like REI and Costco, you know? There's more to the world. Yes. Well, thank you for joining me. I want to show you this little tea tray again. I think it's I like a silver tea tray with just a combination. This is like a little Romanian or Eastern European teapot, and I think the Russians, the Romanians, the Czechoslovakians, the Hungarians, they always have such beautiful, fancy color and design in all of their things. from their scarves to their headpieces to their jewels to their china. They're not afraid to have some color. So let's really be like Christopher Columbus. Let's be brave-hearted and go forth on our boat and go to do the job that God wants us to do in faith and love and charity, kindness, goodness, grace, and truth. God bless you and have a beautiful week. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share and push the notification and the like and the comments. I love your comments. I treasure them. It's very, very sweet when you bring them to me. Thank you so much. And I wanted you to see, these are purple jewels, which I thought were so fun for Christopher Columbus. I'm wearing this outfit in his honor and for the honor of Queen Isabella, who won the battle, gave her offering, had faith in Christopher Columbus, believed in him, and sent him off. We owe her a debt of gratitude too. So we honor these people. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous weekend and enjoy Columbus Day. God bless. I look forward to seeing you next time.